Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple things in response to Mr. Clem's remarks and yours, Mr. Chair. I do believe we have engaged unfruitfully, but in an ongoing conversation for years now about part of the solution here to modernize our immigration system is to address root causes. What is it that drives people, children, adults, women, and men to want to come to the United States for a variety of reasons? And there's been periods of time over administrations where our engagement with not just the government leaders in Mexico, but throughout the hemisphere, being effective in stemming the flow. And so I'm glad you're putting that on the table and look forward to working with you on that. The other thing I would recognize from Mr. Clem is a recognition that the number of countries represented in migrants coming to the United States, they're not all from Mexico. They're coming through Mexico, and that's an important distinction, so I appreciate that. But I do want to turn my attention to the children who are in custody today, because despite significantly lower numbers at the border, including the arrivals of unaccompanied children being way down, children are spending dramatically more time in ORR custody under this administration. As the chart behind me shows, when there were 6,000 children in custody on any typical day in October 2024, they were in custody for about 49 days. That was consistent for a long time. Currently, there's roughly 2,000 children in custody on any given day, but they're spending roughly 6 months in custody. That's fewer children spending a lot more time in ORR facilities. Not because ORR is overwhelmed from this reduced workload, but because of the changes this administration has made to impose what seem to be new barriers to family reunification. This administration has created new restrictions that have kept even biological parents from quickly being reunited with children, creating hurdles that have nothing to do with the child's safety. And I agree that is paramount, but we have to strike the right balance. What difference does the legal status of a loving, caring parent or family member make when determining whether a child can be well cared for and safe? The truth is it doesn't. All it does is make children feel like they're being treated as bait while languishing in custody while mental health deteriorates over time. 6 months is a long, long time. Ms. Giovanoli, can you tell us how these policies run counter to the law that protects children in our government's care and custody, and speak to the impact on children when their sponsors are too afraid to come forward and claim them?
Yes, thank you, Senator. I think that it's important to sort of ground this in the idea that ORR's responsibility to care for the children starts with, under the law, identifying an appropriate sponsor once the child has come into their care, and then going through a very elaborate and rigorous process for vetting those sponsors. And I think what people often don't realize is that this also involves trying to reach the parents in the home country, if the child has a parent remaining in the home country, to determine, both what the dynamic is between the child and the parent, but also to determine what the parents' interests are in terms of placing their children with sponsors. And so I think every effort is made to try to find, if not the parent, then some other loving family member to take the responsibility for the child. When that's not possible, there are various other levels of care that they try to release a child into, because ultimately congregate care for children can have a really detrimental impact on their health and their well-being, and it is everything from the fact that these shelters are not really designed to have the services, I should say, to care for children long term. So there comes a point in time where educational needs really begin to suffer. Other opportunities that the children may have if they were outside the congregate care setting that they aren't able to enjoy. So their development can really be hampered by long time custody. Sometimes that's the only option, but the goal of both the TVPRA of the current regulations governing care and placement of children and basic child welfare principles is that you should try to reunite children with their parents whenever you can, safely.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know 5 minutes goes by quickly. I have additional questions. I'll wait for the second round.
Senator Moody?
Thank you so much, and thank you for holding this hearing. I think it's incredibly